morning, my friends, and welcome to another fantastic installment of Cowboy State Politics. From very high above all the puerile and vacuous forms of Wyoming mainstream media, this is Cowboy State Politics. All right. Evidently, I cannot do the whole show opening. I'm back, well, sort of, but I'm still recovering from the dental surgery that I had last week. In fact, I probably sound a little bit like this.
Sure, did I suffer depression?
No, I'm not quite that bad, so I guess I'm doing okay. Well, in any case, I've been away from the microphone for far too long, and I have to tell you, my friends, I have missed you immensely. And while it is somewhat painful and kind of irritating to me that I'm slurring my words, other than that, I'm doing fantastic and ought to be up to full speed in about another week. Crap. There I go again. At least I didn't drool that time, but I probably sounded like this.
This guy is moving to foment hate.
No, still not that bad. Anyway, I've been away from you for too long, and considering the assassination attempt on President Trump, I thought it was important that we sit down and talk for just a few minutes. This doesn't happen in America very often, though we have had a few presidents assassinated. James Garfield, he was only in office for 4 months. Abraham Lincoln, and of course, JFK. There have been a number of attempts. Of course, the most recent one was probably Ronald Reagan in 1981 when John Hinckley tried to kill him. But what we like to say as Americans is one of the things that sets us apart from other countries is that we settle our political differences peacefully. Or, I suppose, given the events of last weekend, for the most part, we do. But do you know which side of the political spectrum all of those assassins were on? Well, they weren't conservatives. All of them were on the political left in this country. Charles Guiteau, the guy who shot Garfield, even wrote a letter to the president before the assassination that said, and I quote, "You and the Republican Party will come to grief," end quote. Obviously, that letter was ignored. Now, Guiteau was considered by many to be insane. In fact, his family tried to have him committed, but he escaped. And the truth is, if you're going to try to assassinate somebody, you're not exactly in possession of all of your faculties anyway. Be that as it may, there were a whole bunch of failures with the events of Saturday. One of the bigger groups of people that deserve a whole bunch of blame is the following.
And they fan the flames of political violence.
Just sit back on the sidelines and say, oh, well, don't worry, this will all work itself out. They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
Donald Trump is a threat to our democracy.
Donald Trump cannot be president again. He's an existential threat to democracy.
He promised a bloodbath when he loses again. We have to take this seriously.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
If he wins, we know that he'll do everything possible to make sure he ends democracy as we know it.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And we need to remind people the threat that Donald Trump poses, not just for 4 years, but for generations.
He told the crowd to fight like hell, and all hell was unleashed. They promote authoritarian leaders, and they fan the flames of political violence. The defeated former president has made no secret of his attack on our democracy. He said he wants to be a dictator on day one, and so much more.
Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy.
Cannot be president again.
MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Wow, right? For 8 years, the media, the Biden administration, the Democrats, they have been saying that stuff over and over. So it should come as no surprise to anyone that somebody like this Thomas Crooks guy picked up a gun and tried to assassinate a president. There are plenty of nutballs in this country, and when the media has been repeating nonstop that Donald Trump is going to destroy the planet for 8 years, stands to reason that one of those nutballs is going to take them up on their offer. Now, I've heard this morning that there are many calls for unity. Heard one of those from President Donald Trump himself. Now, I would agree that generally speaking, unity is a good thing. But unity of what? What exactly are we unifying around? If we are unifying around the idea that we absolutely live in the most amazing country in the history of the world, well, then I am absolutely on board. But I would caution you against just generally accepting the nebulous idea of unity. None of us should ever forget the Rahm Emanuel never let a good crisis go to waste idea. I think right now it's time to take a sober assessment of where we're at as a country. Let's not make any big decisions. Somebody just tried to assassinate a former president and candidate for president of the United States. I don't think I have to tell you that that's kind of a big deal, and it requires all of us taking stock of where we're at, both personally and nationally. Just a couple of my own thoughts this Monday morning. But for right now, that's about all I can do, my friends. I've got another dentist appointment tomorrow, and I'll let you know how that whole thing goes on Wednesday. This quick chat that we had today is brought to you by the Wyoming Cartridge Company. They're a Wyoming-based company that makes ammunition designed to make you a better shooter. To find you some, you can go to Rocky Mountain Discount Sports in both Sheridan and Casper, the Wyoming Gun Company, the Sheridan Commercial Company, the Sheridan Co-op, Bighorn Trading, the Pawnbroker, and Cornerstone Pharmacy over in Buffalo. But for now, from the base of the Bighorns, at the Cowboy State Politics Studio, I'm David Iverson, and this is the one and only Cowboy State Politics.